Welcome to the Style Sports Hub, presented by UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Sports Hub podcast presented by UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics. I'm your host, Kyle Coppola. On today with the program, we got Brad Lord for South Lake High School. Want to thank you for coming on to the program, Brad.
Thanks, Kyle, and thanks for all your coverage.
All right, absolutely. We're looking forward to a great season here for South Lake High School. And Coach, you're coming off of a 2-8 season last year, but that builds upon what you guys did in 2022, where the school went 0-10. You're looking forward to big things in 2024. How's the offseason been for you?
We've had 60 to 70 kids showing up to workouts every day. Against Olympia, we lost our last game against Olympia, and we played them tough. And I said to the team, I said, hey, when do you want to start? And they said, next week. I said, well, take a week off. We'll start in 2 weeks. And we've gone ever since with workouts, agility, speed and agility, summer 7-on-7. We took a bus trip that you guys covered for us, where we went 8 days, 7 nights to colleges, and our kids have put in the work. We'll see where it goes. I look to improve. I'm not used to being 2-8, but it humbled me, and I think I really assembled a great coaching staff on the off season, where we had 5 or 6 coaches last year. We got 15 to 17 right now between our JV and varsity programs. And they're buying into the culture change and the way that we run football.
Yeah, that was interesting. The college tour this year, that was really exciting for your guys, and had a bunch of guys go to a lot of different colleges. I think you ended up at the Citadel at one point, so a lot of different areas. How does something like that help the football program in the long run?
It bonds them together. They go through hard time. I mean, they go 7 days in a row of football camps, so they go through hard times. Shows how for them to persevere. They do come to get this team. We had kids sitting with each other, so they get to know each other. Nothing that I was a brainchild bringing about. If you Remember the Titans, we stole a lot of that stuff on the bus trip. But I thought it was good work. Anytime these kids can get coached up by college coaches, I think it gets you ahead for the fall.
Yeah, and this fall you got an interesting schedule. You've got a new district. You got a new district this year. You got Lake Minneola, of course, still in your district, but you got Horizon, Davenport, Ocala Forest. That's going to be a challenging district, but a winnable district, I think. Potentially South Lake going after their first district championship in a long time, Coach.
Well, that's our goal. I know Ocala Forest is going to be loaded for bear because they didn't have. They really didn't think about us last year, and we went in there and beat them, and they had a really good football team. So Mineola will be always good. I mean, all the teams in the district are good. We don't know who the power in the district is yet, and we'll find out later. We want to compete. We want to be there. We want to have a shot to win it. We got a tough schedule. Nature's Coast, the best Tavares team I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
The Villagers are better than they, have been in the past. So we've got a pretty Mount Dora we play. Mount Dora is going to be very good. It's going
to be a great game.
Okay, so we lost a lot of tough games last year. We lost games from being young in the last few minutes of the game. We lost St. Cloud 6-0. We lost to Mount Dora, I think it was like 12-6 or 12-0 or something. But we lost to Westport in the last minute of the game. So I think last year's stuff is going to help this year's team. We pretty much have everyone back. We lost Kevin Charles, hard to replace a 1,200-yard runner, but we have 4 or 5 running backs we believe that can give us some depth there and move the ball.
Yeah, you got a couple of guys coming back, Malik Holman, Lyndon McClure coming back as well. Interesting to see what you guys are building down there. I guess it's going to be a running back by committee approach in a way this year, I would say.
Yeah, and with that gives us depth. Malik had a huge spring game. He had 3 touchdowns. He caught a screen pass for like a 60-yard touchdown. He also starts at linebacker for us. So we have to be a really good coaching staff on when to sub, take care of these guys.
Yeah.
In the old days, we all played both sides of the ball. Now in high school, they specialize and go one way. we'll probably have 4 or 5 kids playing both sides of the ball.
How is the challenge of that? Because a lot of teams these days do have guys. I mean, there's still guys that play both ways, but it's not as common as it used to be. So a school like South Lake High School, where I don't want to say you don't have all of the talent that some of these big programs have, but is it more of a challenge for certain programs around the area, such as a Umatilla, South Lake, Lake Minneola now? Is it a challenge to compete with the bigger schools?
Sure. I mean, I think it has to do with depth. Okay, and when you get depth, you can go with it. We've got good depth this year. That's one thing that is going to be a strength of our team. Very good depth, especially in the offensive line and defensive line. I'm not a big fan of the pretty boys. I like the big guys. So I'm a guy that if the big guys do their job, we're going to beat some teams up. And I still believe football is physical,
It is definitely a physical game. Some of the teams that you play against as well are very physical. Talking about the run game, a lot of teams still have that wing, bring the wing T up, but some of these teams still run a formation that's very similar to the wing T, I guess, back in the day. But when you come up on teams that run the ball heavily, how do you adjust to that?
Whoever's the toughest is going to win, right? So I know Horizon runs a single wing, and they got 2 great running backs. Okay, we're going to have to be tough, and the teams in our district are going to be tough. I was a defensive coordinator for years. I'll go against spread offense all day long. If I have 2 beautiful edge players and a guy I can send up the middle, I'm going to put heat on them. Teams that run the wing T or the single wing or I wing, and they power the ball. I think of Lake Sumter. I mean South Sumter. Sorry, I think of South Sumter. I think of Union. Some of these schools that power football. Power football still wins championships.
Yeah, it certainly does. And you're gonna have a couple of really good guys on the offensive line returning too, because you get Trey Kelly, a quarterback, class of 2027. Hard to even fathom that, the class of 2027. But you got even guys, the class of 2028 coming in next year. Talk about Trey Kelly, your quarterback coming in this year.
Trey did a great job for us last year. He started all 10 games. He threw only 2 picks, ran for 600 yards, threw for about 650. Didn't make a lot of mental mistakes. One of the interceptions that he had 2 all year, one of them hit the kid right in the hands.
Yeah.
With his leadership improving, I really think South Lake's in a great position for the next 4 years, right?
Yeah.
We got Marcel Harris, who's if I say Marcel Harris again, I've said it 3 times this week. Marcel Walker, who is a phenomenal athlete, and he'll be playing all over the place for us. He led the state in kickoff returns last year. It's a great weapon for Trey.
Yeah.
Trey is a student of the game. He works. There's not a lot of people on our team who work as hard as Trey. So we're excited on what he brings to the table, leadership-wise and skill-wise.
And not just on the leadership and skill size, but you also have a great coaching staff. You mentioned them earlier coming in. What has that been like to build the coaching staff? Because this team it looks nothing like it did in 2022. You had a year to build it last year, and now you further built it during the offseason. What does that look like coming into 2024? Because I feel like more kids have bought into this program than they have in the past many years.
So we're running it like a college program, so I needed to bring in a bunch of great coaches, and God blessed us with that. We've got Roman Tatum. We've got Mark Woolham. I want to talk about Mark. Mark is an incredible offensive mind. He was the head coach at South Lake High School for a long time. I tried to get him out last year. I think he wanted to see what I was going to do and how vested I was. But we've always been friends over the years. We always talk to each other, usually a couple times a year when I was coaching in another school. And I got him to come out this year. And it's been so refreshing because he's such a great football mind. And it takes quite a man to come back to where he was the head coach to help. It shows me humility, and it teaches kids that. Mark's could do the head job in a second, but he wants to make the school better. Southlake has also had an unbelievable news this recently. We have been moved up to a B school.
Congratulations.
Which we're really proud of. Our principal, Mr. Benson, and the vice principals there, they really work hard, and they've done a great job there. And our football team wants to be part of that growth. And now we're all shooting for an A.
Yeah.
But it was great news to get that. I know our kids were excited when we told them in the locker room. But all that goes hand in hand, right? So if we do good in the classroom, in the hallways, in the community, we're going to do great on the football field.
Yeah, it's going to translate onto the football field.
Absolutely.
Sure. We're going to take a quick break here on the Sports Hub. We'll come back with more with Southlake head football coach Brad Lord in a moment.
Is pain or restricted range of motion keeping you on the sidelines? Get back in the game with expert orthopedic care from UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics. UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics provides robotic-assisted surgical joint repairs and replacements, post-operative care, and inpatient rehabilitation services, all close to home, right here in Lake and Sumter counties. And for those unexpected injuries, UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics offers convenient walk-in and same-day appointments. To learn more or to schedule an appointment with one of their specialists, call 352-323-5665.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Sports Hub podcast presented by UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics. I'm your host, Kyle Coppola. We're talking with head coach Brad Lord. Want to also thank Lake Sumter State College for everything they do and provide us. Coach, talking about the season, we're looking forward to the defense this year. Last year, 2-8, had some defensive issues last year in the backfield, but looking forward to big things coming up in 2024.
Yeah, we got two great coaches back there, Roman Tatum, Najim Hussein, and DeMarcus Brunson, three really good coaches. So they've been coaching them up all summer. Our weekend was on the back end last year. Our front seven last year, or front six, was as good as anyone I saw.
Yeah.
And they've improved over the summer. Jesse Barker, Junior Messier, devastating off the edge. Anthony Johnson, Coy Nelson, Brandon DePaulo, Latravic Anderson, Murphy Conley, really solid in the front. Linebackers, we got both coming back, so we're in good shape. Caden McGlure, that we've moved to safety. He was our middle linebacker last year with 81 tackles, but he'll be playing safety for us. We have a newcomer, Moses Ward, who's transferred in.
That sounds like a football name.
Yeah, he's a defensive back, and we needed that there. So we're looking for Moses. We have freshman Julian White, who has really shown well in the preseason. So he's a true freshman out there, and but he has shown some real good skills out there.
Not just on the defensive line, but on the offensive line. Connor Plummer, let's talk about him for a minute. Offensive tackle, got a couple offers coming in for him as well. Exciting player, I guess. Does he protect the blind side of the quarterback?
He does, and he's 6'7". He has a huge reach. He has really improved, had a great offseason. Is a leader on our team. He's been a 3-year starter. Wasn't coached up much the first 2 years. I mean, last year a little bit better.
Yeah.
This year, got a great O-line coach, Jeff Acton and Carl Womack. They've been working with Connor. Connor had a fantastic summer. He got a couple offers. We look for big things from him. Dylan Prinzel, we have moved to center. We got Blayton Rush back. So we have 4 out of 5 offensive linemen back from last year. They got in the weight room. They really increased their bench press and their strength. So we're excited to see what they're doing. They're going to be a challenge. The Friday night, in the referee scrimmage, we get to play Trinity Catholic. So they're going to know right away where they're going.
Trinity Catholic won some state champions, or got to the state championship the last couple of years, and they're going to be a force once again. That's a great way to start your year off and know really what you have right off the bat as you play Trinity Catholic this upcoming Friday night.
Absolutely. We want to see our kids be physical, move the ball, and, tackle, block, execute, and take care of the ball. We do that, the wins will come.
And hoping for at least 5, maybe 6 wins this year, I would say. I mean, what does the season look like? What's a successful season look like?
District championship.
Yeah.
That's our goal. It's a district championship. That's our successful. It's not about, I know Southlake hasn't been much about winning, but this is a good football team. I've coached some talented football teams in the past. This team here has more depth and talent than some of my teams that went into the regional championships and Final Four.
And that would have been at Foundation Academy where you're from, and you've taken this program over and done some very impressive things with this program, because this is a program that I don't want to say that it was in rough shape, but it was not in the best of condition, I would say, when you came and took it on. But you got to be proud of yourself for getting this into the position that you are, and that you can go out and compete for wins against, say, teams like the Villages, Tavares, Mount Dora. You're going to be seeing a lot of really good football teams this year, but you're in a really good position this year to actually compete.
We have a great support group, right? Our boosters are unbelievable. We have the Gridiron Club does a great job for us. Without the support there, and we put a lot of money into and work into the program last year that we're going to see, which still needs a lot, right? I mean, I'd say we have the nicest stadium in Lake County.
That's beautiful.
Now we got it all painted. We took care of the field house this year. There's logos on the floor and painting, expressions. My favorite expression, when you're not working, someone else is. It's up on the wall. Allen Iverson, believe it or not.
There you go.
But it was up on the wall. And so we're doing little things like kids know if I see trash, if they walk by trash, they get 10 push-ups. If they see a wrapper on the ground, they need to pick it up. To take pride in the program. I
love what you do with your kids too, because you volunteer to go and clean up Southlake, which is amazing. You guys go out into Groveland. I think you did that earlier this year as a team. Talk a little bit about that and bonding with your team and going out there and cleaning up the city of Groveland.
Well, Groveland loves Southlake football and the high school. So we want to do stuff for Groveland and Mascot in that area. We also did a food bank, the Southeastern Food Bank that does everyone around here. We had a day there. Again, builds camaraderie, puts someone ahead of themselves, right? We live in a world of I. We live in a world of likes, right? How many likes am I going to get?
Yeah.
We want to expose our kids where they're doing stuff for other people. And we believe that creates a winning attitude.
For sure, and that creates a fantastic attitude, and I love to see that mindset at Southlake High School and what you guys are building down there. As far as building the program, what has been your personal favorite part of building Southlake the last 2 years?
Watching the kids come to workouts.
Yeah.
Day in, day out, hard workouts, 60 to 70 showing up daily.
That's awesome.
Yeah, all summer long.
Yeah.
Coaches were exhausted by the time. I had to give them a week off before the season started because they kept coming. And to me, that shows something on our kids. Do I want them to work harder in practice? Yes. Do I have my old school sometimes way of coaching? Yes. But our kids have bought in. They're showing up. That's half the battle.
Yeah. And you talk about the old school ways of coaching. Old school gets it done. You're getting it done. Gavin Jones is an old school type coach. He's over at Tavares High School. You talk about Gavin Jones, the way he coaches, but I love watching teams like that because they come in, they're very disciplined, and you can see old school philosophies still work.
They do, but you need to bring it. So when I modeled this coaching staff, I wanted to model it as the school was set up. So I want to be very diverse. I wanted to have youth, older coaches, middle-aged coaches, so that everyone can share their stuff, right? And these young coaches and players are teaching me like how to use Instagram and stuff that, I've been able to use Twitter or X because I had to do it for recruiting for so many years.
Yeah.
But Instagram was a new thing for me, so they got me on that. And I have a coach who talked me into buying a big box that not only shows TV, we can run our film on the sidelines, on the during the games, but it's a music box too.
Awesome.
Coach Russell Hawley, who's been a godsend, he came from the First Academy. He's my assistant head coach. Like I said, I mentioned Mark Willem, Roman Tatum, Brandon Griffin, Eddie Luce, Ben Keith. I can go down to Rudy Darden. Coach Beacon, who was the head coach at Point Siena, has now taken over our JV and is the program director there.
Yeah.
We have 50 JV kids playing right now.
That's terrific. You mentioned that too. I think it's very important to get your JV program in good shape too, because those are guys that you're going to be able to, not all of them will start on varsity right away, but that's a good way to get guys ready for varsity. And it's a very important program to have.
I failed at that last year. I had so much to do with the varsity. Thank God, Coach Darden stayed with me. I threw him and 2 coaches down there with 70 kids.
Wow.
And I didn't give it enough attention as I should have. Mm-hmm. So when Coach Beacon and I talked, I told him I want him to come in, be the program director, keep Coach Darden as the head coach. Now we have 6 coaches down on JV.
Yeah.
So it's being run where our JV kids will practice with us for 3/4 of the way through practice, and then it will just bust out at the end. And it creates a unified coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
And it also shows sometimes JV kids feel like they're looked down upon when they're the future of the program. The JV, my number 1 hit list as a head coach, when I sat down and did my own review of myself last year, it was my poorest quality was providing a great JV experience last year. We're going to do that this year. They're going to have a great experience. They're going to have nothing. They will go for naught. Everything the varsity has, JV will have. And I believe that will make our program better in the future.
And I respect that out of you, stepping up and saying, hey, this is what we can make better. And that's awesome to have a coach with that kind of philosophy that's willing to step up and make those changes happen. That's huge, I think.
Well, yeah, I like reviewing myself. I'll have my coaches review me, at different times. And I do reviews with my coaches every year, and we review every player. Every player last year at South Lake High School got a formal review with their parent in a meeting.
Wow.
On what they could do to get better, what they needed to do to see the field, expectations, classroom expectations. So we covered everything in the reviews. I think that also helped us throughout our off season.
You're fired up about the season, aren't you?
I am. I'm excited for Friday. I can't wait to see us go against a powerhouse like Trinity Catholic.
Yeah.
I did get to go against them, I think, once when I was at my old school, but I like that. I want to see where our kids are. I think they're ready for the challenge.
I think they are too. You're coming in with a lot of poise, and these guys are going to come in. They're going to be ready. I'm an announcer for the Villages, so we're going to be at that game when you guys play the Villages this year. That's going to be a really interesting game. You guys got a couple other scheduled. You're going to see a lot of good quarterbacks this year.
We are.
You talk about Jake Seppi for Mount Dora High School, one of the top quarterbacks in Lake County. You're also going to see a couple other guys as well. But
I'll put my quarterback against anyone in Lake County right
awesome.
now as a sophomore.
As a sophomore, he's coming in. He had 1 year to build on last year, but it seems to me like he had a huge summer.
He did, and he had a huge year last year. He's special. We got Tiger Darden also, who plays all over the place for us, wide receiver, DB. We have multiple kids that are doing that. So we're stepping up. It should be interesting.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the Villagers called me and they said, well, Coach, do you want to host? I said, no, we're coming to you. We're excited to go over there and play in that beautiful stadium.
Yes.
Hopefully they're nice to us and, they be nice to my little lambs.
Oh, I'm sure that they will. That's a heck of a place to play. I think you're for a lot of these guys playing at the Villages, that's probably going to be the top facility potentially they ever play at in their lives. It's
I don't know many high schools except for in Texas that might be better than it.
yeah, it's quite the facility. So looking forward to things like that. And we talk about the NIL deals for a second too that have been passed here in Florida. Kids can start to earn money for playing sports. Obviously, South Lake hasn't signed an NIL deal yet, as far as I know of. But what are your thoughts on that? And where are we going?
Well, people are going to probably say, "Oh, old school, here it comes." I tip my hat to NIL. These kids can go out and get, a sponsorship to help them, especially some of these kids that struggle. Good for them. Mm-hmm. It's going to be how the adults handle NIL. It's not going to be how the athletes handle NIL. It's going to be how the adults handle NIL. Mm. And when I say about that is, are the adults going to do it the right way? Mm-hmm. I think the FHSA did a good job on their NIL, what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. Okay. I for years, the FHSA will know I've had some battles with them on some things, but the way they set up NIL, I think got to be 18, you got to be a senior, a lot of transfer rules and stuff. I think they knew they had to put it in there. It's going to be what the adults do, mm-hmm. right? Are the adults going to be shady? Yeah. Are they going to be Ubering kids 50 miles to go to their school? Things like that. Are they going to what I call collectives? Are collectives going to form like they have in college? Yeah. And if the adults can do it the right way, NIL will be awesome for a lot of kids who need the money.
Yeah,
and the support. I mean, I'm feeding my kids every night, mm-hmm. right? I want my kids to have good nutrition, protein. We did all off season. We gave them a protein shake, protein bar. They got to get a choice. We invested in that. Mm-hmm. Some of these kids, when school isn't going, struggle to eat, right? So if you're a football star and some car dealership wants to give you a little money because you're doing great, mm-hmm. and they can see you going to college and they want to keep that contract and do it the right way, I'm all for it. The adults have to be the ones that rise above and do this the right way.
And maybe educating these kids potentially on what to do with their money. Would you think education would come in as far as that goes?
Yes. And so Dan LaForest, who's done a lot for high school football in Central Florida, he runs the media days and stuff like that. They have Influencer Council. Yeah. And that's what his program's going to do. They're going to educate the kids on how to handle money. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, right? Yeah. I've told my kids, there ain't no one on this team right now who's getting an NIL deal. I said, they're potential. We've got some potential kids. Mm-hmm. I said, and guys, we don't know what it looks like. Let it roll out. Don't worry about that. It's going to come. Mm-hmm. It's going to be organized, and it's how the adults run it. If the adults are dodgy and don't do it the right way, then it could be a nightmare. If the adults do it the right way, go by the rules, it could be a great asset to a lot of kids.
Where do you see it in 5 years?
I see it where college is in 5 years.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at the guys who went through college, right? Let's go back to my era. Flutie. Mm-hmm. Didn't get a dime for his shirts. Sold millions of shirts. Yeah. Then we'll go to Tebow, right? We can go, down the line, Frazier, who had played at Manatee, Tommy Frazier on that Nebraska team. Mm-hmm. They were selling their shirts. The NCAA was getting money. The college were getting money, but the kid wasn't. So I think there's a lot of stuff when it goes to college. I think it's different than high school, mm-hmm. but I see high school maybe going where the colleges go. Wow. I mean, my fear of the collectives, are there going to be collectives where a high school area that has a lot more money can have a stronger collective mm-hmm. and draw kids and take them from other schools? Then I got a problem with it.
Yeah. We're going to take one final break here on the Sports Hub. When we come back, we'll wrap things up next with Salt Lake head coach Brad Lloyd.
Are you ready for your future to take flight? Whether you're graduating high school or looking to level up, Lake Sumter State College offers affordable degrees and certificates that will punch your ticket to success in a rewarding career. Plus, with programs like Direct Connect to UCF, your opportunities with LSSC are endless. So, what are you waiting for? Join us in Leesburg, Claremont, Sumterville, Four Corners, or online. Learn more at lssc.edu.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Sports Hub podcast. I want to thank Brad Lord for coming on. Coach, best of luck in the 2024 season for you.
Thanks, Kyle. I'll get you a shirt. I meant to get it last year, and I probably forgot, or I sent it to the wrong address. But thanks for your coverage, what you guys do for high school athletes in Lake County. Because, listen, I'd love to see Lake County get where Orange County is, right? They have a gridiron club in Orange County that they do a player of the week every week, and they have a dinner, and they have guest speakers come in college. We don't have that in Lake County. So your coverage is huge for our athletes over here.
We're getting it there. We're going to continue to build it, Coach. that we can promise. So
yeah.
Good luck this season, and hope to see South Lake competing for that district championship.
Me too. Thanks, Kyle.
All right, appreciate you coming on. That's going to do it here for the Sports Hub. Want to thank UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics, and along with Lake Sumter State College as well, for everything they provide to us. We appreciate them. For Coach Brad Lord, I'm Kyle Coppola. We'll see you on the next edition of the Sports Hub podcast.
Soar, Eagle, soar.
This has been the Style Sports Hub, presented by UF Health Medical Group Orthopedics.